Hello, and welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy. My name is Maddie, Kendra Nielsen's COO, and today you'll be listening to episode 286, Negative Core Beliefs, Are Childhood Patterns Disrupting Your Marriage? With Tarah and EJ Kerwin. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy. Today we have special guests Tarah and EJ Kerwin, and they are the founders of Relationship Renovation, a counseling practice based in Tucson. Through their in-person sessions, podcasts, online programs, and YouTube channel, they help couples around the world strengthen communication, deepen empathy, and create more connected, resilient relationships. We are so excited to have you on the show, so thanks for coming on today.
Thank
Thank
you, Kendra.
you.
Cool to be here.
Yeah, and always to just talk briefly before our podcast to get to know you, and it's just a good energy vibe, so I love it.
Oh, for sure. So tell me a little bit more about the business and how you guys got to this space.
I mean, it's been a long road. A lot of our story kind of involves the two of us. We got together a little bit later in life. We had a blended family. We were both therapists.
Working in an eating disorder residential facility.
We were totally in love. And my kids, we only had half of the time. So these very fun weekends every other week. Then we got married. We got pregnant on our honeymoon with twins.
Let's just say
our life got crazy quick.
I went from 0 to 4 kids in a year and a half.
That's significant.
And I always had a marriage counseling practice on the side. I've been doing couples counseling since I was 24 years old. I always loved it. I never made it a full-time job. It was always just a side private practice because I love working with a team. So I waited to get married. I think we were 38 because I was
38.
I make sure the person I married was a therapist. He was just an awesome guy. We meet, we fall in love, we get married. I come back, we're pregnant with twins. I'm like, what? This is awesome. And I didn't know the word colic. I didn't know what that was. I thought it was like hay fever. I didn't know. Well, both of our twins were born with colic for 9 months. And so my world just turned upside down. I was nursing every hour. The babies would not stop crying. I hated EJ. I did. I was like, how could you do this to me? I'm being punished for everything I've ever done bad. That's what I thought. And I just remember thinking how overwhelmed I was and how much resentment I had towards EJ and how did our life end up like this so quickly? I have these 4 kids under 5 years old. I had to stop my work. I couldn't go back to work. EJ had to take over my whole caseload, so he was gone until 9 o'clock at night. And that's when I was like, okay, I could either leave right now because this feels awful and I don't know what this is. And I've never been so overwhelmed in my entire life. Or I'm going to call EJ crying and say, if 2 therapists are having this hard of a time with this transition, we've got to help other couples in our community. And that was the start of our couples counseling center in 2016. So the twins were born in 2014. And then EJ and I had a ton of stuff to figure out in that year and a half. Like, what is happening? What's being triggered? Why are we so overwhelmed? Why are we fighting all the time? Why are you avoiding me? Why am I nagging you? Blah, blah, blah. And so we created wellness within us. And then we looked at how we did that and then created this, it's like a model, relationship renovation model. And the 2 of us started with couples in Tucson. We're like, we don't know if this is going to work. Just know that we're still together. So that's okay.
I mean, I think what we realized was that even though we loved each other so much and we had so many things that we needed to be literally it was a part of our existence, figuring out how to become our best selves together, how to use all the suffering we were feeling and all of the complications and all of the negative core beliefs that were coming up for each of us.
Yeah.
And it was like we had to work at it every day.
Yeah.
What we then thought was well, this has got to be this is what everybody's going through.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different story. Everybody's got a different stressor. Everybody's got a different past. But this is a process that we really believe can help a couple evolve together. Yeah. And so it was something that we were embarking on together. And it was in just making our relationship work.
Yeah.
That then we thought hey, we can take this and we can support couples. And that's what we think people always loved early on with us, was that this wasn't 2 people sort of preaching from the mountaintop of this is what you got to do. This is 2 people who are in it themselves saying this is hard, but it's worth it.
I love that you said that because I remember how much I loved EJ, like even in the overwhelm and the resentment. And he would come home from work and I'm like, how dare you? Like, you get to be out there and I'm here milking. Like, that's what I felt like. And I remember, like, I love him. Like, I remember our wedding day. I remember when he proposed. I remember all of these things. And I'm so glad we did this because so many people don't have the skills and they're not therapists. I mean, we were compelled to make it work for us and then support our community. And so every week, our center, we see hundreds of couples. It's amazing to see. And it did start at the root of our own suffering.
It's crazy because, we've got like 200 and some odd podcasts, and we've learned so much about working with couples, but yet we still, like this morning at breakfast, like it was a thing, It's like every day we're still in it. It's been such a blessing for us because it really has been like, it's like forced us as two people together, two people with a family, with dogs, with kids, to really be consistently doing the work we need to do to become our best selves.
I do think so many people, when their relationship feels on edge, they think like, oh, there's something wrong with us. We truly learned like there's so many skills that we just don't learn. If you can really learn the skills and understand them and are motivated to do that and become each other's teachers in a way, that's where the hope is. When couples come to our center, they feel like they're uniquely broken. And we're like, absolutely not. We've got to help you and support you with the skills. One of the first things, and I'm sure you'll ask us this question, EJ came through that door and I wanted to just yell at him and let him know what I had done all day and he hasn't done anything. And I remember I just said this, it's called our code word now and we help couples with it. But I said burnt toast. So when I say burnt toast, that means I'm in a really bad place and I'm not going to be able to be good for you or for me or for our children or for our animals. I was like, I'm just going to go take however long I need to because I don't want to like take my anger, whatever this is, out on you anymore. And just that first time out for me, we call it our code word, burnt toast. Like it helped me regulate instead of project all of my overwhelm onto him. And that's like one of the first things we teach couples, like, listen, you guys can't keep re-traumatizing yourselves in these negative cycles. Like, let's use a code word first for you, don't call it out on the other person. That would be bad, but use it for a kind of form of like regulation. And like, once we started doing that, I was like, oh, we're onto something. Like we can actually take the tools we've all learned through graduate school and my practice of 15 years.
I love that and can very much resonate with that. Like we talked about before we started recording, that my husband's also a therapist. And I love how you just normalize it. I recognize sometimes that embarrassment, that shame that I have. Like, if we are struggling, if we are at each other's throats, if we are struggling with parenting aspects, what hope is there for other people that don't have these tools? And funny enough, when you were talking about that code word, I think it was just last night, my husband's like, why don't we have a code word yet? So like you can kind of tap out. And I was like, because I think I would always use the code word.
Well, that was funny because when Tara was describing that, she described it like the minute she would walk in the door, just seeing me, would have to say the code words like, okay, just your mere presence. And I think like that's one of the hardest things for couples is there's this person that they adored at one time, were sexually attracted to, who wanted to be around constantly, and merely looking at them for most couples at some point is agitating.
Right.
And it's a horrible thing. It doesn't feel right, but it's so common. What couple doesn't go through a period in their partnership where they're just struggling?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that kind of brings me to what you're talking about with Relationship Renovation Podcast. You guys have had this practice for a long time. You've been in this space. You've been specifically helping couples, it sounds like. Is that right?
We see individuals, couples, and families, but couples is our majority. Yes.
So in this space, like when a couple comes in and they're just feeling like they're at their wits' end, they know that they don't have maybe huge problems, but they just have a lot of wedges, a lot of conflict, that they're just very reactive in their relationship. What would you tell listeners that are like, I don't know what to do, I kind of hate him? Let's start there. What do you do?
Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I'll start and then you
Okay,
can jump in.
yeah.
I mean, the first thing I think like most people that walk through the office doors want to hear is like, this is normal. I mean, I think people just want to not think, like Tara said, that they're just unique in this problem. And there's such relief right away of just like, okay, like this is a normal thing. It's okay. And then an injection of hope, and we can help you. So Tara can kind of go into the how, but I think the launching
Yeah.
point is this is normal. And you know what? There's hope.
And I also add on there too, because so many couples, like, unfortunately, couples don't come in and they're like, we're good. We just want to be better. That would be awesome. Like, I would love that. But couples come in when it's either this or we're done. Like, it literally is like people are in crisis, whatever that crisis for them looks like. And I'm like, I'm so glad you guys are here. Because they'll be like, how do we know this will work? Because our model is about 4 to 6 months. Like, I wish I had this crystal ball and I wish I could say, wow, in 6 months, you guys are going to be having awesome sex. You're going to be like best friends. I said, but all I know is this, that you guys are in a place of fear right now, and making decisions out of fear is not going to feel good for you. It's not going to feel empowering. It's going to feel powerless. And we want to help you no matter what that decision is based on your relationship to do it out of clarity. So trust us in this process. Trust us in this model. I always show them an outline of the model because we really start from the very beginning and do a full assessment of the couple's relationship and then take them through their genogram and timeline and early childhood. Like, we help them build compassion for each other, because what happens is they realize, oh, you don't think that you avoid me in distress, but actually you avoided distress when you were younger. Like, you used to go hide in the closet when your dad yelled. Through our early attachment process, they really start to build compassion for one another and see each other in a different light. Like, oh, it's not just me she hates. She just doesn't know how to regulate feelings of anger, because if she did, that would not feel safe in the childhood home. We use a lot of attachment and family systems work. And then we just build a ton of skills. Like, what did you guys learn about sex? Oh, to either not do it unless you're in love, or that it's shameful. We want to help you create a whole new narrative around that, because we didn't have the skills to talk about sex or intimacy and feeling deeply connected. Most of us, some of us do. Maybe if you have therapists as parents, our kids are like, Mom, stop. And so, yeah, it's like a whole thing of, first of all, clarity over fear, building the compassion first before talking about anything difficult, because they're not going to hear it differently. Couples will try to rehash the same thing. I'm like, listen, you are not going to hear it any differently right now. Would you guys trust that I'm willing to go this route first, and then we can talk about it differently? And I think because we're pretty confident in the work we've done, people are willing to like trust us. But people come in, they're like, we just want this fixed in 5 sessions. We just want to talk about the affair.
Well,
we just want to have better communication.
Yeah, I think that that's a big part of it also, is that like you're in good hands, because they've, again, by the time they've gotten to us, whatever level of dysfunction is happening in their relationship, they feel like they have no idea what the heck we can't talk about anything. You hear that so much. Like, there's nothing we can talk about that doesn't lead us into some level of discomfort. And that you're just like, okay, I can help you out. You're in good hands. You can trust in this process. Like, people are just like, oh, thank goodness. It's like why we go to a doctor. The same thing. It's like, God, my shoulder's been killing me. And when a doctor looks at you and seems like he actually knows and is, okay, I can help you out, that is like such a relief, right? Because you're just like, oh, this person can help me out. And so that's a big part for us in our own work, but then also working with others, with other therapists, helping them develop into confident therapists who can engender that sort of feeling in a person, like, oh, this person actually knows what the heck is going on and can help me.
That is so huge, because 2 things. One, we don't get a ton of training to do couples work in grad school. And so therapists have great hearts, right? They want to be helpers and they want to support. But couples is a whole different dynamic. And so we have a lot of couples that come in, they're like, well, we've been to therapy before and it didn't work. It's not that they've been to bad therapists, but you have to really understand couples dynamics to make sure that psychoeducation from the very beginning. You guys, this is not going to be easy. It's going to be like a roller coaster. There's going to be a time when you want to quit. And guess what? That's the time when you want to stay, because that's when homeostasis is disrupted. Telling and psychoeducating couples early on about the process helps them prepare, because then like 5 weeks later when they're like, we're not coming back ever, this is not working. I'm like, wait, this is happening. Do you remember when I said that you guys are going to want to quit and it's going to feel awful and you're not going to want to come back? That's because things are starting to shift, but we're afraid of shifts, right? We don't want to get out of homeostasis. We want things to stay dysfunctional, even though we don't want things to stay dysfunctional.
Well, and a good guide knows how to prepare their person for where they're going. Like if you're hiking the Grand Canyon, you're about to come up to a bunch of switchbacks and it's gonna be an hour of hard work. You want to tell somebody, we're about to hit a really tough patch, but we're going to get through this. And this is what it's going to look like. Because if the guide doesn't have that understanding from working with couple after couple after couple, then when they're surprised by a disruption in homeostasis and they're like, oh my God, what's happening with this couple? You know, their nervous system gets dysregulated. The couple, they're dysregulated. It's like, well, who's going to keep our feet on the ground? Like, who actually knows where we're going here? And, and couples crave that in a therapist and a coach.
And Kendra, to come back to your question, when you're like, what do you just say when that couple comes in? She's just, I just can't stand him anymore. We have this sign in our lobby. It says, our partner is our greatest teacher. Be patient for the lessons. We're like, how is this feeling? How is this situation going to help you grow into a better person, regardless of this person right here, right? Because we know that triggers are very important and they're signs that maybe there's something blocked in us and we can grow from that. And they hate us when we say that. They're like, no, but it is really him. And I'm like, okay, we'll touch base in 3 months and we'll see if you have the same feeling.
I love you speaking to those things. And if it's okay, I'd like to turn it around because this is an unusual setting where you're both therapists and you said your listeners and also your clients connect with you more because you normalize it. You tell them this is something that happens to us as well. So what do you guys do? You talked about being young parents, but what about even how many years have you been married, by the way?
And 13, so like 12, almost 13.
Okay. My husband and I just had our 20-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you. But anyway, so yeah, over this period of raising kids and the friction that goes into that and the back and forth, and it's a lot. So how do you work through that yourselves personally? Like it's one thing when you're working with clients, but then another thing when it's just you both alone at home. Yeah. Do you mind sharing some tips that have worked for you personally?
I think a big thing for us over the years has been learning to accept but challenge the other person's way of doing things. Because the reality is one of the biggest points of friction for Tara and I, we'll just go straight there, is that we react to situations very different. We'll just take the instance is that like we have a morning routine that is extremely busy. We wake up at 5:30. The kids have to leave the house at 6:50. Dogs have to be fed, lunches have to be made, breakfast have to be prepared. We have to kind of check in about like, okay, what's our first appointment? You know, there's an immense amount of stuff. And in those times, I go internal. I just put my nose down and just like get shit done. Like no space for emotions, just get it done. And Tara gets
overwhelmed.
anxious.
In my mind, it's like, okay, I have to make breakfast. I have to do the lunches. I have to be ready for the podcast by 9. Did the cats get fed? The dogs did get fed. We have a new puppy. Did it go out? I just
go internal. She goes and she has to kind of control everybody a little bit, communicate. And those two things are in direct opposition to each other. And so there has to be a level of acceptance. Like I have to accept that this is what Tara does. She does it every single day. So if I every day judge her for it, if I have ab reactions, if I find tiny ways to punish her, that's not going to work.
No.
So we have to accept, but then also gently nudge that. Like this morning at one point, I was like, okay, this is all doable.
Yeah.
We can do it.
And she has to looked me in the eyes. He's like, we got this.
We have a system that
this is doable. Like we bring each other, instead of that could have torn us apart because he used to judge me. And then I used to feel bad for having anxiety. Then I felt like I was a bad person who was crazy in the family. And EJ has learned how to accept it and like come to me. And he's like, we've got this, babe. It's all good, babe. When he sees me overwhelmed and cutting up all the different freaking things for lunch, he'll put his hand on my back. It's like moments of touch base where before we felt alone in our suffering.
Well, and maybe can you say like then how, because I do things differently than you, like how do you cope with me and the way I do things differently.
I mean, I just trust you. Like, I trust that things are just going to get done. And so I trust that now I can ask you to do these little things. And instead of me feeling like I'm nagging you, I'm like, oh, we're just a team here. So we're getting things done. So it's like little micro moments of connection. And that's the thing that happens too, like outside of us. Like, we were not prioritizing our relationship. Kids came first, our business came first, our staff came first, everything came first. And we were realizing, like, why do we still feel so disconnected? We're still using the tools. And so we just realized how to really, like, in little moments throughout the day, every day, how to make each other feel like we are the number one, we've got this. And then we'll be able to handle everything else. But if you're not feeling connected, you don't want to be close to your person, right? You want to like distance yourself. So we help build the compassion first. We had to do that with us, and I know for EJ, I know why he avoids. I know why he disengages from anxiety. I know a lot of that is from his childhood. He knows why I get overly anxious because of all my childhood trauma. We understand each other better because I was willing to learn and grow myself through my triggers with him. But so many people, it's like, that's really uncomfortable. I'd rather not. See you later. I'm good.
And it's like this gentle balance between like, it's unfair for me to expect her to be anybody else than who she is, but I also have to push her a little bit and find healthy ways to communicate her about things that not just are uncomfortable for me, but where she's making it uncomfortable for herself, And so it's like this acceptance with also this gentle, like, how do we connect and support each other in you helping me coming out of my shell in moments, and maybe in me helping you like stay grounded in the morning, because every morning is exactly the same, 5 days a week, they are repeatable, and we can do it in ways that feel really yucky and disconnecting, or we can find ways to maybe make it just a little more connecting.
And I do have to share. So I'm not sure if you know who Dr. Stan Tatkin is. Oh, he's amazing. He runs Pact Therapy in California. He's written so many books, and he's kind of like the mad scientist of couples counseling. That's what all of marriage therapists call him, like the mad scientist. Well, he's been on our podcast a couple of times. We went to one of his retreats in Spain. It was amazing. And he came up with this idea of the triple Ps: predict, plan, prepare for everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, Dr. Stan. It's predict what could happen. Tara's going to get anxious in the morning. EJ is going to get reactive to her anxiety. Plan. Okay, in those moments, EJ comes and he touches me and he's like, it's okay, babe, we've got this. Predict, plan, prepare. You are like basically making sure that whatever could happen, you got a plan for it. Yeah. He's on one of our podcasts. We can share it too.
It's just funny because it's like the interventions appealed, because I love predict, plan, prepare, but it fits so perfectly into your anxiety world because we'll predict everything. We'll plan. And there's been times where predict, plan, prepare has been super triggering for me because we'll get into an argument about something and she'll be like, we did not predict, plan, and prepare. And I'm like, we're not always going to. And so it's
but
funny.
It is very useful, Kendra.
Yeah, but it's just interesting how we react differently. Even the tools, like one tool to Tara might be the panacea, and to me, it's like predict, plan, and prepare is a little overwhelming. My goodness.
Well, the reason I'm smiling is because this resonates with us. Maybe I'm a little more of a Tara, and I can totally see my husband being more of an EJ.
Yeah,
it resonates with all of us, right? Whatever tool resonates with each person. You're talking about. What I hear you saying is like the narrative, kind of changing it from like the other person is not the enemy. It's just about micro connections. Maybe it's about predicting, preparing, planning and preparing. But whatever it is, it's starting to change that view that like we can be one instead, or maybe not even one. We can just be more connected in the things that come up instead of alone in our suffering.
You said it right there, Kendra. Like, it's trust now. Like, before, EJ and I didn't think there was always a threat to our relationship. It's like, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I have a twin sister. I was like, I'm going to Kentucky to be with my twin sister. Okay. Like, see you later. Now that we've built emotional safety, I would say if anybody listened to our podcast, the number one topic we talk about is emotional safety, because now we can go through these difficult times, which we're going to, but there's no threat to our relationship. We know we will get through it. It might be clunky. It might be uncomfortable, but there's no threat. And couples, like when they finish whether it's someone, going through counseling outside of here or at our center, like building that emotional safety and being able to get through difficult times without that threat, that's freedom right there. It's not like you're not going to have difficult times. Oh, you will, but you're going to get through them, and you keep building that trust, like we can handle this now. And I think that's another psychoeducation piece for couples, because they think, oh, you mean like we're not going to argue anymore? We're not going to can't stand each other anymore? I'm like, no, that'll happen throughout your lifetime together, but you'll be able to like trust that you can handle it now, instead of, again, like you said, see your partner as a threat, which is what we were starting to do. And that was awful, because I love EJ, but he was definitely like the monster to me. I was like, how dare you give me all this stress?
Especially when life is so overwhelming. Like you just gave a perfect example earlier of the morning routine. Like this is how parents roll, right? Like it's not just then, it's in the evening. It just seems like it's always this go, 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 and it's hard to connect.
Thank you so much for joining us here today. As always, check out our website, fulfillmenttherapy.org, to find more information about how you can help your family through our courses, our blog, and signing up for our newsletter. As well as, just a heads up, we will be changing our scheduling for our podcast going forward in the future, so be on the lookout for that.